Here at Helmuth Ford, we are a small town dealership with no hassle and no pressure.
Hi, this is Stacy from Shuttler Insurance Services. Come see me on the east side of the square in Sigourney for all your insurance needs.
This is the Jet Dealer, and you're watching Shotgun Wrestling Radio.
This is Trent Hammer, and you are watching Shotgun Wrestling Radio.
Wrestling fans, if you want the best wrestling news, you want to watch Shotgun Wrestling Radio. This is James Jeffries, and tell them that I sent you there. Yeah!
Hey everybody, this is Brock Anderson, and you are watching Shotgun Wrestling Radio.
What's up, baby? It's Ricky Bronson, your favorite baller and beer drinker, baby, and you're watching Shotgun Wrestling Radio.
Hey, this is Mason Grayskull, and you're watching Shotgun Wrestling Radio.
Hey, this is Jared Thumb, and you are watching Shotgun Wrestling Radio.
This is Augustus Draven, and you're watching Shotgun Wrestling Radio.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Shotgun Wrestling Radio. I'm your host, Zach Takes. This week, we are having yet another guest. April's been a very busy month. Typically, I don't have a full 4-week schedule because usually the last week of the month, we do Wrestling with Fitness on the other channel. And so this month has been a rarity. We have 4 guests. And this week, we are welcoming in the Absolute Pro Wrestling Openweight Champion, the one and the only Mr. Alvin Fancone. Alvin, how you doing, my friend?
Wonderful. Ecstatic to be here. Thank you for having me, Zach.
Man, you have had a busy year.
Boy, you're telling me, man. You're telling me.
And it definitely doesn't seem like there's anything kind of stopping the train rolling. So let's kind of get right back to, your beginnings. Growing up, were you always a wrestling fan growing up, and that kind of what made you want to get into this?
Yeah, I mean, if I remember one constant throughout my life, it's wrestling. Whether that be through, watching it weekly, pay-per-views, PLEs, whatever you call it now, monthly, playing the video games, like it was me. That was my personality, my identity. So yeah, I mean, wrestling has been with me from the beginning to now. So it's been a constant.
And at what point for you did you feel like you really want to give this a try? Like you were really contemplating wanting to get into this?
I mean, it's always been something that like I've wanted to do. I mean, if I had to put a timestamp on when it was, I would say I was maybe in middle school, when I was like, I think I really want to try this. But, where I was, there was nothing in the vicinity to jump into, to do. So that kind of fizzled, throughout middle school, high school, whatever. Went to college for a little bit, figured out, hey, I hate school. So I stopped doing that. And I was like, you know what? I think this is the perfect time. So I would say middle school, but the time when I was like, all right, let's do this, honestly, was the pandemic. Just sitting at home doing nothing. That was the moment where someone was like, hey, so-and-so, they're doing this training, such and such place. Do you want to do it? I'm like, I have nothing better to do with my time, so let's do it.
Now, when it comes to training, obviously in Iowa, we have a lot of different options. Even back then in 2020, we had quite a bit of options here across the state. Who did you decide to go with, and what made you decide to go with them?
Yeah. I had a few options. It was either, my number one was Black and Brave. Obviously did not go with that. But figured out coincidentally, I haven't trained in Iowa. I didn't train in Iowa. I trained in South Dakota. Nick Dinsmore, Eugene, had a school up there, and one of my buddies, he was the one that hit me up. Good old Tommy Douglas, shout out Tommy Douglas, was like, hey, do you want to do this? This is the perfect time to do it. So that was the moment where I was like, we're off.
Who were some of the guys as you were growing up and you were watching that you really felt connected to, that just really you really gravitate to? Who are some of your favorites growing up?
Oh, so I have such a weird, um, I don't know, headspace, I guess, about like with favorites and people that I connected to. I wouldn't say I connected with like specifically a person, um, but it was just like wrestling in general that I connected with. I just found so much within it that spoke to me, um, that pulled me in, that made me feel like I was bigger um, than what I was, than what I am. But if I had to say, like, okay, here are some people these are my guys. Um, uh, Obviously, you got um, your obvious ones like your John Cena's, your Triple H's, those ones. But I also like being an African American gentleman. Seeing those people being represented on a worldwide stage really inspired me. So people like Kofi, JTG, Shad, all of like in that era of time, those people, Booker, all of these people, Bobby, like I could go down the list, but um, I just seeing somebody that looked like me doing something that I wanted to do made me believe I can do it too.
That's something I just absolutely love hearing. Yeah, you mentioned guys like that, and especially you look at guys like Booker T and Kofi specifically, because a lot of people I know at the time said Booker was buried quite a bit in his time. Like you would go to the match at WrestleMania 19, and you question whether he should have won there. But it probably almost worked out better for him because along the way he came up with the amazing King Booker gimmick, and probably was much better off doing that instead of winning at 19 when he did. And then obviously Kofi Mania, when that happened, was just such a fun ass moment. Like I don't think you can't be a fan and not look at that and say, okay, that was fun. It was kind of a reminder of the Daniel Bryan win from WrestleMania 30, the ultimate underdog finally winning, and even this past weekend, Jey Uso.
Yeah,
like that was damn fun. Like that was just like seeing 60,000 people just like that was fucking cool.
yeah, it's so cool. Just um, I love I love a good underdog story.
Yeah.
I love seeing someone defy the odds. Me personally, I feel like I'm someone that's continuously defying odds. Not even in a professional sense with wrestling, but as a personal sense, like I'm constantly defying odds of obstacles being put in my way, whether they be big or small. But, in those moments, I view myself as an underdog. I have to take those on head on because, there could be, someone watching, listening to this very podcast, waiting for the moment that I say, hey, you can do this. And that's something that I mean, like you can do this, whatever you're going through, you can do this. And those moments of those people defying those odds speaks to people. Creating emotion is just a beautiful thing that the human mind, the body, like how you can conceptualize and perform that is just beautiful.
Now, when you finally made it to your training, you got all signed up, you got all set up, ready to go. What was your first memory of your very first day?
Hot. It was so hot. It was the middle of June when I started, and we were training in a garage. So there was no AC, there's no ventilation. And it was, you either had the garage door closed where you trapped all the heat in, or you opened it barely or all the way to kind of try to get some sort of circulation through there. I remember feeling like I was going to throw up numerous times. I can say with a proud moment, I think I was the only person in my class that only threw up once during our training. And I only blame that on the heat. But yeah, just so hot. And I remember Dinsmore just, he shows up and he's wearing a sweatshirt and shorts and, like runner's tights under it. And he's just sitting there in the chair, just cooking. I'm seeing bullets of sweat from him. And he's taking it all in. He's loving, he's enjoying us suffer. But we know at the same time, he's suffering at just as bad as we are. So yeah, hot. It was very hot.
Now, when you guys finally got to start taking bumps, because obviously I know a lot of times schools will have you do the conditioning stuff first before you even get in the ring and start taking the bumps. What were some of your memories of like your first few bumps? Was it harder than you thought it was going to be? Because I know a lot of people, they look at a ring and they see it bouncing and people are like, oh, it's so bouncy, it's trampoline. Not really like a trampoline. Like even the best rings aren't, the trampoline. What was your first memory of taking your first few bumps?